because you go on a tour in the Capitol and you
Can't do nothing, right?
don't get out of line. Don't get out of line and be like, you follow the guard and you don't get a, you on a tour. It's somebody had to let that happen.
Absolutely. Now you're thinking. Now you're talking right.
Man, I'm just working, man.
I know what my audience like. I did some independent films with Master P. A lot of movies did really well.
I'm ambitious. I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.
Yo, Ike Speaks. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm good. You see the coup at the Capitol.
The Coup at the Capitol. That's the title of my next book, as a matter of fact. Already. I mean, literally. I mean, an overthrow. Nothing. They've been trying to mince words all day. It's an overthrow because there was something governmental happening.
Right.
Now that you've suspended something that was governmental that was taking place, that's an overthrow.
Absolutely.
It's no attempt. You know what are the immediate legal ramifications?
Oh goodness. Well, it's kind of difficult because they haven't really done a good job at identifying the actors, as far as I'm concerned. Right. We've got all this facial recognition technology. Half of these people don't have on masks, and so they should be easily identifiable. The problem is the response, this government's response to the aggression and grievances of Black people is so markedly different than their response to the grievances of white people. They put 300 National Guards and told them to stand down. When it was Black people coming to protest, they had gas canisters, rubber bullets, and the like, right? Armed police. They had tanks and militia, and just the environment was hostile.
Yeah.
None of that was happening. You had an unsecure Capitol. How could you have an unsecure Capitol when you know? And this is what I said Monday. The Democrats are underestimating these people.
You did. Let me take this time out to acknowledge you and celebrate you. Because it might have been a month ago where you called January 6th.
Yeah.
Like you legit called it. You were telling about Safe Harbor, and then you said blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, well, and what happens if that don't work? You was like, well, then January 6th. Like you said it. And then this Monday you were like, man, they don't even know what's coming. So I got something for you. All right. What if they did? Because other than me putting on my Captain Obvious hat and asking the dumb question, how come nobody's shooting? What if they did? Let this happen? Because you go on a tour in the Capitol and you
can't do nothing, right?
Don't get out of line. Don't get out of line and be like, you follow the guard and you don't get a, you on a tour. Somebody had to let that happen.
Absolutely. Now you're thinking. Now you're talking right.
And that's what I'm trying to get at. And we were on earlier from 4 to 5, and I was really trying to see if people would put their critical thinking hats on, and looked at it in that vein. Sure, it's the black-white issue, sure,
right.
But bigger than that, those things don't happen with the systems that are in place,
right?
Unless somebody lets it. So the question becomes. Why do you think they let it happen?
Okay, so I think they let it happen for a number of reasons. One, they didn't want the certification to continue. Right? And so that's one thing that immediately was stopped. They had to vacate Pence from the grounds. And so he's not there. He can't count. He can't certify anything.
Okay.
Nothing can go on without him, right? Unless they're going to use the Senate tempore, which is, I think, Grassley. But that's only if Pence is not available. He's available, right? And so if we have that, and let's just say we also have a terrorist attack, because you know that they found pipe bombs on the ground.
Which by definition, this should be, but of course they won't. Yeah, they won't, because we had the same thing. We had Baltimore, we had Nashville, and they were afraid to use the word. Here we're seeing it, and they still won't use the word, but continue.
They won't use the word, but there was an IED found on the ground.
Right, several.
Right? We've got threats from Iran. And so we have this confluence of things that might be happening that would trigger Donald Trump continuity of government. Ooh, dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I got that. Wait a minute. I got that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But and so it seems like those little words are, small, but they're really important words because it's important for the country to maintain government continuity. And so this would not be the ideal time for transition if we were in turmoil or if we were dealing with a terrorist attack or terrorism, whether it's domestic or otherwise. Right. And so all of this turmoil is purposeful.
Right.
It's purposeful.
This is almost what the theorists out there over the last 2 years we have been saying. He's going to take us to war, and he's going to stay in office. Right?
Right.
It's
Like
that,
as hell. Yeah.
the same thing because
Yeah.
this is in effect, with domestic terrorists and insurrectionists and seditioners. This is war. When they climb this, I was trying earlier not to get so hyped, but y'all watch movies. Y'all grew up. You seen the movie, and my favorite, one of my favorite genres is war and thriller and suspense and all that.
Okay.
When they take the flag down,
yeah,
that's an act of war.
It is absolutely.
When the Capitol was taking flags down, and I got video and pictures, and I'm gonna try to play it a little bit later, and putting up Trump banners as if he's your sovereign nation.
They don't even see that part, though. You're not doing it for the country. You're doing it for Trump.
A person.
A person.
A obese, greasy, degenerate, demented person. Half a person.
Half a person.
Half a bitch.
Do that to half people.
Yeah, yeah. But when I saw that, and so we've seen the video. Some of us, if you've been plugged in, it was all out assault indoors of the Capitol, and they were essentially, and the memes are going crazy. Some of the memes are absolutely great and phenomenal, and they're coming from white people too. But I saw one of the memes was like, "Oh, y'all tripping about looting a Target, but not looting the chambers of Congress," because they went in there and was literally walking out with podiums and flags and wearing the hats, and I'm like, how is this playing out on live television and it's not a bloodbath?
Yeah. It's nothing. It's not. There's no response. There's no reaction.
Yeah.
There was no reaction.
And so let's talk continuity of government, because I got a bet going with Karen Hunter.
Okay.
$2.
Who I love, by the way.
Yeah, that's the
I
big
was a little girl reading the Daily News. I'm New York born, so.
Oh yeah.
One of the very rare Black people that was in the newspapers when I was, coming up.
Oh wow. Okay. $2 bet. That the 20th, and I carefully worded it. The 20th is not going to look the way you think it will.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe that I'm gonna get that $2.
Yeah, I think you might get that $2 too.
They're talking now. Claire McCaskill was giving up some jewels on Rachel Maddow. She was saying how her sources they're looking to come back in and continue certifying through the night.
Right.
Which is fine.
Right.
But I feel like all you got to do is say, I don't feel safe.
Right.
And I'm not showing up.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have intentions when it comes to these certifications. And so, it's done alphabetically. I think they got evacuated. They still was on A.
Yeah.
You still on A, and understand that every objection, a minimum of 2 hours of debate.
Yeah, because 6 people get to talk per objection, I think.
Yeah, so really, y'all gonna come back tonight? You still won't be finished by tomorrow. And you're only doing it symbolically so you can make it look like you haven't been affected by the insurrection. You absolutely have.
Now, worth mentioning is the young lady who lost her life. She was shot in the hallway. The video is on Twitter. We won't be playing it on the show. But my question to you would be, do you think that changed things?
No.
I feel like it was unexpected, and from the video, you can't really tell who did the firing. You see law enforcement. You see law enforcement with their weapons drawn, and then you see somebody else, but you can't really tell. I know that wasn't part of the play.
Right.
So does this change anything?
No. No, because you have to understand, in the history of this country, there always will be casualties of war.
Yeah.
Right. These are casualties of war, and when you show up at these events, then you tacitly agree that you might surrender your life. What I do want to what I want to highlight is the language that a lot of people use when they talk about the certifications, right?
Okay.
Every time you read something, they say things like, this is largely ceremonial.
Okay.
Largely ceremonial.
All right.
They say it's virtually impossible for them to not confirm Biden. That
Okay.
just that language just means that there's a way. There's
Yeah,
a path.
yeah.
Right? Because there is nothing that is hard and fast. There's no hard and fast rule on how this is supposed to go. And so I would take that bet too. I would
Yeah,
take
yeah, and especially since I take you to the casino because you've been hitting, you know what I'm saying? So with that loophole, right? There is a, they kind of hinted there's a 2 to 3 day window moving forward. It's Friday, we should know something, but there's actually a 2-week window.
right.
What's the worst that could happen?
The worst that could happen
More than today.
that Donald Trump remains the president. That is the worst that can happen, is that we are unable to get the vote certified. And so that it has to pass to the House. The House then has to vote. Each state gets 1 vote. And because, like I said, there are more red states than blue, Trump will remain president.
What does that mean for Black people? Because we're seeing what we saw today. No police protection.
Yeah.
Something we're used to. So if we saw it on this scale, where you don't even protect the Capitol,
Right.
and the man stays in office, what does that mean for us?
I think it's a wake-up call for us. It's about time that we not just talk about having our own political party, but we actually form one, and we have to get on code. And that means that it can't just be some of us, because it doesn't work if it's just some of us. It has to be all of us. No matter what we disagree about, fundamentally the things that we agree on are what's most important and should carry the day. And so we have to collectively come together as a people, put our differences aside, and form a political party so that we could have political power without having to ask for somebody's permission.
Now, how long we've been talking about that process for years, right? And now you would throw that out there, and somebody will probably say, "Well, it doesn't happen overnight," even though we've been literally talking about 70 years. What does that look like, and how does that happen? Is that a thing where we go and register? Is it a thing where somebody just puts it out there? Who's behind it? Is it a one person thing? How do parties get started?
Now, I'm not a political strategist, so I can't tell you necessarily how we can do that.
Yeah.
I just know that it needs to be done, right? So there needs to be a political party formed, and we all need to join it, right? Or we need to vote as a block, even if we don't have the unity or the cohesiveness to create it. We still can vote as a block in a way. And if we haven't demonstrated in Georgia and in the presidential elections that voting as a block matters, we never will demonstrate it. So everyone at this point should understand that we do have power in numbers, but those numbers have to be solidified, and we have to do it as a group, as a team, as a unit. We all have to be on code.
We are live right now with Ike Speaks. This is a live show. 765 Let's Go 1. 765 Let's Go 1. If you got a question or commentary you want to add about today's events. We're talking, new political party. We're talking the legal aspect of what happened today. Speaking of legal aspect, is there anything that we're hearing coming out of New York, Letitia James's office, that is going to, surface in the next day or two that we might find interesting?
I haven't checked. I've been under a rock a little bit in my office working on this military disability case. We got to do a show on how the military disrespects its veterans.
Easily. I'm first person removed for that.
Okay. So I think Letitia James is gearing up for when Trump is out of office to bring charges relating to his foundation, right? And the impropriety of sorry, that's my dog, and he got locked in the office. So the impropriety of some of the monies that were used.
Oh, I thought the dog was named Money.
No.
He was like, Money.
That's JJ.
Hello, fam.
But I think she's going to go after that whole family on the foundation, that Trump Foundation, and a lot of impropriety there. And no part to help him because those will be state charges.
Well, but these people are untouchable. They Teflon. You know, he's pardoning the worst of individuals. I feel like even if that was to happen, you know, nothing's going to come of it.
No, that's not true, because the only person that can pardon him in New York is Andrew Cuomo, and they're not friends.
Mm.
They actually hate each other, right? And so he's not going to come to his rescue. And he can't pardon himself on state charges. You can try to pardon yourself on federal charges, arguably, but you can't do that with state charges. So there's no saving him. So he might be up at Coxsackie or Sing Sing or Shawangunk.
Oh, wow. all the upstate famous prisons, all of New York prisons.
That's right.
Oh man, we need that. That would be the day.
That would be nice.
That would be the day. He's just such a demented individual. He's a demon. And just I didn't even get a chance to see him speak for 2 hours a day. I watched a couple clips or whatever, but it's like, I mean, I say it's demonic possession the way they react.
Yes.
Like y'all are under a spell in a real way, like a trance.
And I don't understand it. I don't. I do.
I figured it out. And I heard them talking. They've been playing clips of people that they've been interviewing on. You know, they're what's the word? They're dumb. Like like they're literally, these are people who probably really can't read. Like if you look at them, you're like, look at these idiots. But if you really look at them, these are the people that cannot read. Like they were saying, they were regurgitating talking points that I know they heard somebody else say at like a truck stop.
Yeah.
They put the microphone in the person. He was like, I'm here because of the fraud. I'm like, what, nigga? The fraud. That's your answer? You got in the car and drove across because of the fraud. I was like, I'm gonna break into your house and cut off your cable. You don't deserve the internet.
That's scary, because we're supposed to have an informed citizenry. Right. This country is supposed to be about informed citizens. We don't have that, and that's probably why we're in so much turmoil.
Now, do you know anything about DC law as it pertains to firearms? Are you familiar?
But I know that it's not an open carry state. I know that DC is more strict. Like it's more like a New York. It's more on the east side, East Coast, when it comes to the laws. And so, no, you don't. It's not open carry.
So it's for the longest. Well, most of my growing up, it's the no carry.
Right.
No carry.
Carry, right.
As soon as the population changed, the laws got passed about 2-3 years ago. You were allowed to possess, and with the right permits and licensing and all that. I say that to say earlier, I was mentioning how, like, we culturally here, we know you can't have the pistol.
Right.
That's why so many youngins get shot in the back, because they always running.
Right.
And they holding.
Right.
They had people. The tie that I was trying to make was they had these people come to town, knowing they had weapons on them.
Right.
Some of them got arrested.
Yes.
Made bail and got released. Like I know people that you get pulled over and they forgot to take it out the car and they gone.
Oh, I've had that.
Yeah. How is it that they were able, like the guy, the Proud Boys leader, he was able to post bail. He had magazines that were over the limit of what you can have, and he posted bail and he was out.
Right.
Like how does that who's working those cases where they're able to do that type of magic and sorcery?
Prosecutors that look like them.
Okay.
That have the complexion for the protection.
Okay.
Right? Look at Kyle Rittenhouse. He killed somebody and assaulted some others, and he's out on bail.
So you don't have a judge that, okay, you be a racist judge, but you don't have a judge to be like, all right, what's this again? Oh, you had a gun in DC? Okay. No bail. They don't do that. There's
no uniform laws on which crimes you absolutely must set bail for and which it's all most of the time it's in the discretion of the court. It's in the discretion of the judge. And when they get to decide if they understand your plight, right? Then they're going to be a little bit more sympathetic to how you came to be before them. That's why representation matters. Right? Because if I can't identify with you, I don't understand nothing about you. I don't understand how you came to be before me. I am not going to have any any mitigation
Mm.
in regards to you, right? There will be no mitigating circumstances that I could take on that would let me say, okay, you know what, I get it.
I feel your pain. I feel your pain. Yeah, none of that. Yeah.
Right. So, you show up in front of a white, they're like, oh, why do you look like my son? All right, we're gonna give you just come back on so and so date.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, he got what they say, they made a big deal about it. The guy, the Tario, whatever, the Proud Boys guy, he got banned from DC. I'm like, who the fuck gets banned from? You can't ban me. I'm coming. My favorite restaurant is downtown. I'm coming back, bitch. Like,
well, how is that gonna work exactly?
Yeah,
be like, oh shit.
Is that him?
Right.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
That's crazy. All right, last thing. Last thing. So we talked about worst case scenario. Let's be optimistic. What's the best case scenario out of what happened today? What could come out of this day? Because Biden came out and heal. He talked about all the positive. We need to heal and come together and cross the aisle. I'm really thinking that I don't think he remembers anything else to say. Yeah. He's saying all that old shit, and that old shit ain't working.
Tired of him already.
Yeah, already. And he's tired. He needs a nap.
He does 2 naps.
What's the best case scenario?
Best case scenario is somehow that we get these votes certified, right? Somehow we get them certified, and we get them certified over 270. Remember, it's not just to get them certified. We have to get to that number. We have to get Biden to 270. If we get him to 270, we're good, and he gets the inauguration on the 20th. That's best case scenario. So hopefully, that's what it's going to be, but it won't be for days. I don't see us having a resolution to this certification nonsense. Maybe not this week even. We'll see how tomorrow goes, because they burned down the Capitol once. I mean, it was the British, but shit, at this point, it's insurrection.
Well, you giving history. Oh, you giving history.
It's been done before.
Oh, talk about it. Talk about the cast iron dome.
Back in 1814, the British came and stormed, and they burned down a whole bunch of shit in Washington, D.C., including the Capitol and the president's house, which wasn't the White House necessarily at that point, but they was burning shit down. So this is not new.
You went to class. You went to class. You giving them a little bit too much. You giving it to them. Talk about that cast iron dome and how they had to repaint it. Talk about it. Yeah. And it used to be a black woman on top of it. All right. Ike Speaks, ladies and gentlemen. Always a pleasure.
Peace, family. Thank you for having me.
I don't care if it is a closet.